all 26. You know what I'm saying? All 26.
Look where his elbow is.
That way my hands
It's not
hit high.
it's not that much when he swings, but you want to
I
exaggerate.
love that. So you look out the window. You with your kids, you do that. That's awesome.
My kids, when I do snap drills, my kids, I get them in their command position, and then they snap it, but they have to snap it away from.
Okay, cool. So what I'd like to start off with you and what I'd like to work on this upcoming weekend is I want to perfect the snap drill. And you can do the full snap drill with the long PVC pipe, which hopefully you've got one by now. If not, we'll work on that. But I also want to perfect the snap drill to contact, which is what this gentleman in this picture is doing here. So I'm going to roll step by step, and I'm going to do it a few times, and I want you to watch it closely, and then I'm going to point out some details for you to keep in mind here. But I just want you to pick up yourself on some of the differences between you guys, okay? So I'm just going to roll it. Slowly for you so you can do some comparison. One more time here. And you'll see how his bat is blurring out because it's moving so fast on the downward travel, or we call that turning the barrel, just so you know when we talk about it. Okay. So here you see him. He hasn't really moved his hands forward that much. He's just turning the barrel rearward. Okay, and you can see in your picture, your hands are coming forward already. You're pulling or actually pushing the bat a little bit towards your target, okay? So therein lies the difference of this whole thing. And there's really just a few adjustments to get you looking like this guy. It's not that hard. You're probably going to pick this up right away if you haven't already at home on your own. Okay. The first thing that I want to point out here, though, I'm going to start drawing some lines so you can look at this stuff. Okay. The first thing I want to show you is the position of the bat. In general, at launch position, okay, remember there's the ready position that you're in. Once the pitcher comes set, you're in your ready position. When the pitcher starts to move and he's coming at you, depending on your timing and how fast the pitcher is, when you're going to get ready to swing, you're going to go to your load position. Again, your load position is when you're fully pulled back and is the position you're in right before you launch, okay? We want to get your bat where the bat barrel or the top of the bat is closer to the pitcher than your hands or the grip of the bat, okay? But we want the barrel pointed approximately near the catcher's feet, okay? That's the position you want to achieve with your bat at load. Okay. The second thing I want to point out is, you know, there's different camps in this theory, but you know, elbow up or elbow down, that's always something that, you know, people debate over. You can do it one way, you can do it the other. Here's my answer to that is there has been great baseball players that have the elbow down, and there has been great players that have the elbow up. in modern baseball with launch angle techniques and the fly ball revolution, though, most coaches like the elbow up, and I personally like the elbow up too. But here's how easy this adjustment is to get your elbow up, okay? And here's why your elbow's down a little bit here. If your bat was in a launch or loaded position with the knob pointed at the catcher, as you can see, as you turn your grip and your right hand goes upward and your left hand is beneath it, like his, that's going to allow your elbow the room to come upward here, okay? So again, we want to find at launch position, we want to try to be comfortable with the barrel pointing at the catcher and the elbow up a little higher, okay? Because again, if we are going to get our bat on a Ferris wheel, which, whoops, which is allowing us to swing like this, more up and down and directionally, versus this direction, then we have to get to the bat to that position, okay? So I really want you to concentrate just standing in the mirror and just practicing it and getting a feel for it. I want you to try to get to a launch position that is more like this gentleman's overall position here, okay? Okay, so in the future when we talk about your 90, okay, your 90 is considered from elbow to the bat, from the bat to your other elbow, okay? And this is his 90. You can see how he looks at launch, okay? Now what I want to show you here, and what is important to do throughout the swing or a majority of the swing, is maintaining that 90-degree relationship, okay? You don't change that until you're in the release and follow through of your swing, okay? So watch this here, okay? So we can't see your left elbow, but if we make a comparison here, you can see that your 90 has collapsed a little bit, okay? And this is before contact. As you can see here, he's maintained it, and his bat's actually still back here in this area, okay? So this is a real simple adjustment, okay? But I wanted to illustrate this for you so you saw that. If we roll this video and you watch him, if you look at both forearms and elbows, you can see those are not changing in relationship to where they begin. Okay, all he's doing is turning the 90, which, coupled with laying the hands down, turns the barrel. Okay, that's how we get to turning the barrel and early bat speed. Okay. So you can also see, if you look at your hands, okay, look, his hands are only turning, they're not going forward yet. Okay, and somewhere right around here, you start moving your hands forward and pushing the knob out, okay? Which is going to keep you from turning the barrel and turning the 90, okay? So get a good look at that. Okay.
Hey guys, Tyler Vaughn with Pathology Performance. I want to talk for a second about some of the general mechanics that I like to see within a baseball swing. Alright, number one for today is going to be the front elbow. Alright, it's something that I've started spending more and more time on and emphasizing more and more as I go through, just because I've seen great results with it, and it's something that you can see within every pro swing that you want to look at. Alright, so one of the things that I like to talk about is bringing that front elbow up and out. Alright, for guys that like to drop their backside, it's a challenge. You've got to clean that up first to be able to get to it. Alright, but it's not a drop to get that front elbow up. It's a high and outside move that really establishes playing with the pitcher. Okay, so as I come through to hit this pitch, rather than driving down to get it, which is what a lot of people say, right, hand straight to the ball, if I go in that position, alright, I've got really two options from here. I can hit the bottom half of the ball and probably hit myself a decent line drive to left field, or I'm going to center that ball up and I'm going to hit a chopper to the shortstop. Okay, so everything's burning out, flying to the left. All right, instead of that, instead of seeing this trajectory and this swing where those hands kind of get away from the body and we're going down and left, what I call the lumberjack swing, all right, I would rather see the hitter establish an inside plane almost as close to their body to where their thumb could graze their shirt. All right, and now what you see when that happens is that front elbow comes up and out. All right, when that front elbow comes up and out, we establish our plane early. All right, I'm not letting my barrel fall down in the back. We'll get to that later. All right, but my front elbow is coming up and out. So what I like to tell people is, think about me standing here as an instructor. I'm standing right behind you, and I want you to elbow me in the nose. All right, so what that looks like is, there's my elbow to the nose. Now I can finish through with my right arm without pulling that shoulder off the ball. Okay, so I'm in my good position, elbow to the nose. All right, I'm coming through, elbow to the nose, and now I can drive and extend through this pitch. And this is the pitch that you see a lot of this is the position that a lot of pro hitters get to. All right, some of them might be slightly more extended with the elbow, but generally what it's doing is working up and out for them to get on playing with the pitch, all right? So I'm in my good position, my elbow works up and out. That allows me to keep my barrel behind my hands just a little bit longer, prevents that early roll and chop that you get with this elbow coming down and out. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that I see in young hitters is this blowout with the front side and this chop with the front arm, all right? So get inside, establish some good plane, hit into the pitch, and extend with this high front side versus that down and out chop swing. All right, hope that helps, guys.
All right, so we're going to be exploring some lead elbow positioning, upper body mechanics, most specifically through the gather right now. So obviously the style of a hitter's gather is going to be ultimately dependent on their body comp as well as how they create natural athleticism. But one thing's for pretty consistent when you see guys hit, control the lead elbow in two reasons for that control. One, it creates a balanced center position for the hitter to work through, but two, it provides a source of really good rhythm. So if you see a lot of guys that have big leg lifts, one of the things I notice first and foremost is the ability to match tempo with the elbow and the knee. So a lot of times guys will focus a lot on their hands, and sometimes what that does is allow for a lot of hand movement, and the barrel kind of begins to wander a little bit too much. So controlling the lead elbow during your gather is not only going to set you up to consistently be in a position to see the ball with rhythm, it also is going to create a balance and a really stable position to begin the initial phase. So no matter if you have a toe touch, a little bit of a midair gather, a little bit bigger of a gather into a higher leg lift, controlling the lead elbow sets you up to see the ball efficiently. The other thing is from the front angle, all right, and this is a common swing flaw I see with a lot of amateur hitters. A lot of guys, I call it, leave their elbow open. So they'll load their hands to some capacity, but their lead elbow is really disconnected from their rib cage area, the side of their body. So when they do this, or they push the hands back, all right, it's really, really difficult to delay rotation because my elbow is already in the position I'm in right here. Right? So the goal when we begin to fire is to think about turning the hips into that lead elbow and feeling that thumb, we call pronate, so this move right here. So pronate or drop the thumb underneath as our hips open, and that starts to build tension through our hips through that lead arm. So you'll see the lead arm kind of lengthen out a little bit as a byproduct of that tension, and then the body turns and we release through the ball. Now, why is that important? Okay, so if my lead elbow is up like this, and I try and turn, turn and try and keep my thumb underneath, it's really hard for me to create direction, call that north-south, this way. All right, I'm already into an east-west pattern across my body. So if I can get my elbow during my gather down into the center of my body, number one, look at the plane of my shoulders. You're going to see a slight, kind of a slight angle forward here. All right, number one. But number two, my elbow and knee, everything's working forward, centered, and against my back leg. All right, so from this position now, when I turn, I can turn and work to the height of the baseball. All right, not to mention, as I begin to turn, I can keep my elbow towards the pitcher for a long period of time, thus creating more adjustability when I deliver my barrel. So ultimately, the barrel is going to follow what my lead arm does. So if my elbow's up, I'm already into a position where my barrel's compromised, and again, I'm in a position of early rotation, which is not something we want to be in.
Okay, so earlier on we talked about the load position and getting the knob of the bat pointed at the catcher's feet and getting the rear elbow up. Okay, once you do that and are comfortable with it, and once you learn how to stay connected and turn the 90 and make your hands move the barrel of the bat rearward to get early bat speed, once you do that, the next step, and this is how it's so can be very simple to achieve this, but the next thing to concentrate on here is this. Okay, so the two videos I just put in right before this talk about lead arm mechanics, meaning what you do and how you move your lead arm, your left arm and your elbow and everything, okay? As you can see, the gentleman on the right has brought the elbow upward, okay? And then it's on its way to up, out, and behind. As he follows through, the elbow will straighten out and come forward a little bit, but until he gets into his follow through, the lead elbow is leading the knob of the bat in the proper direction, okay? As you can see, yours is lower here, but if in the first video, once you start practicing that, and we'll cover that this weekend, once you start getting comfortable with moving your left elbow up, out, and behind you with your left shoulder, and we'll talk more about that, that step right there, once you master that, you're going to have this swing down, and I'm almost sure it's going to be almost instantaneous with you. So it's highly important to be aware of what you're doing with that elbow and turning the 90, okay? So that move right there, bringing the left elbow up and towards the pitcher in the direction you're wanting to swing, that's going to cure all this stuff, okay? So I just wanted you to see that. Okay, let's take a look at your lead arm and left elbow comparison to Aaron Judge from this view. So I call that last view we were looking at the catcher view. Just so we're on the same page, this view where we're looking at you front on, we're going to call this the front view, okay? And then the view from the pitcher we call down the line view, just so you know. But let's take a look at Aaron Judge's left arm and left elbow. And I'm just going to roll them so you can soak this up and look at it here. Okay. You see how yours is much lower. Okay, right before I get back to the left elbow here, I want you to see this real quick. If you look at this angle here, you can see your spine angle, so to speak. If I draw a line from your left foot to the top of your head, and then I do the same with Aaron's, you can see that yours is at 103 degrees and is a little bit more upright than Aaron's. And Aaron is at 150 degrees, so he's leaned back with his upper body a little bit more. Okay? So just want you to note that because we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Okay, so this is right before contact. As you can see, the position of Aaron's left elbow compared to yours, it's obviously much higher. It's above his chin, and yours is well below your chin. Okay, so just make note of this. Again, this is real simple to correct. It's as simple as doing a few exercises like the gentleman showed us in the first video and then just concentrating on it, okay? So we're going to get there. This is going to be very simple for you, but I just want to make a visual note of this for you so you can remember this going forward, okay? And just to make an illustration here, by not getting that left elbow up and turning the 90, you can see you're in a little bit different position here than Aaron is as well, okay? Okay, so I also want you to make a mental note of this, and again, this is fixed also with improving what you do with your lead arm and your left elbow. But a result of not doing that correctly affects this situation right here, okay? So what we want to look is at here is your hand path, okay? As you can see, Aaron's hand path is kind of down and up. It's kind of a half circle, if you will, okay? To get quick to the ball, behind the ball, and create that bat speed and turn the 90, once we get you doing that, your hand path is going to be a lot more like Aaron's, but just look at where your hands go compared to his, okay? He is still on the Ferris wheel with the bat because he's on a Ferris wheel with his hands and turning the 90. You can see your hands, they start good enough, but as you can see, when you start pushing the bat or moving the hands early and not turning the 90, what that does to your hands and what effect that has on the bat, okay? So just look at these and make a mental note here. It elongates your swing, makes your swing longer, which takes more time, and it makes your swing more east to west or flattens out the bat, okay? Okay, so again, this is simple to fix and improve at. What we need to do is get your launch position correct, your elbow up, the knob of the bat pointed towards the catcher. We need to turn the 90, get the left elbow up and out, and you'll look just like Aaron, okay? Okay. So this weekend and initially we want to get the hands, arms, the launch position. We want to get all that down. And then we're going to get into your lower half and your leg kick. But just so you can, if you've got time to watch this, I'm going to put you and Mitch Haniger side by side here, and I'm just going to roll this and let you look at it so you can see the differences. Okay, so here is Mitch Haniger's leg kick, okay? I want you to watch it and see what he does. Okay. What he's doing is he's literally taking his left knee almost in a straight line upwards and cocking his hips, loading his hips. He's essentially taking his left knee up near his belt buckle, okay? And if you watch him closely here, he's loading the hips and coiling into his right hip. He's loading his weight into his right hip, okay? So if you've seen it, it's the hover drill by Matt Antonelli. He explains it beautifully in his video. It's called the hover drill, and I believe it's on the videos I gave you. If not, you can go to YouTube and you can search Matt Antonelli, the hover drill. But you can see how he's loading his body so he can then unload it. Okay. And then when we look at your movement, okay, so you've got this open stance, right? And then you bring your knee in towards the plate and then just a little bit backwards, okay? You can see that you're more north and south, just back and forth, and Mitch is more up and back, okay? So, but just look at the way his hips work here and everything looks when you're loading your lower half correctly, okay? Just look at the differences here. Now we're going to get more in depth on this later and talk a lot more detail about this, but loading your lower half and using this type of leg kick is going to benefit you a lot of different ways in the swing. Your timing, your ability to stay back on pitches, recognize them, and then react. It's going to help you maintain your maximum load so you can put your maximum bat speed swing on the ball, okay? But I want you to start practicing and get the feel for this, and there's drills that we can do that we're going to go over that'll help you. But up for now. I just want you to see this and how it works. Look at the way Mitch is just turning the barrel here too. Also, he's got a beautiful upper half swing too. And you can look at his left elbow and all the other things that we've talked about earlier on here. When you essentially are just backwards and then forwards on the same plane and you're not coiling into your right rear hip, there's nothing, again, that's keeping you back. There's nothing that's helping you load for more power and more stretch in between your right shoulder and your left hip. You're not stretching the rubber band here, okay? And all that is going to make you do is leak forward, which again affects your arms and your hands and makes your swing more of a slice and more east to west than north to south. So it doesn't help you get behind the ball and stay through the ball in your swing. So again, we'll go over this in more detail later, but this is the last part of this video. I'm going to post this on YouTube for you and send you the link. And watch as much as this you can before we get together, bud.